I want to follow up on a cliffhanger of sorts that I had mentioned, which has to do with Sting, Triple H. Now look, we can all be in agreement. The way WWE has been utilizing Sting, it's been okay. I won't say it's been on point. It's been okay. They got the whole vigilante thing going on and everything. It's okay, but it's a little rough around the edges. And we're in a situation right now where we have about 3 Raws left before WrestleMania. And these guys, they really got to start bringing it home. Let me make sure I'm accurately reading that right. Yeah, we got 3 more Raws, as WrestleMania is going to be hitting on Sunday, March 29th. So we got 3 more Raws to really, really drive home these main key event matches, if you will. And the Triple H Sting is one of those. And, I just can't help but look at the situation. Don't get me wrong. I'm not bashing the Triple H and the Sting match. I feel in my heart of hearts, when those guys get ready to deliver, it's going to be freaking classic. A lot of us are going to just kick back and we're going to enjoy the hell out of that match. I promise you that. But see, here's the thing. You think about the way Sting came in. We were first introduced to him at the Survivor Series pay-per-view, where he interfered in that main event match, got the Authority out of power and everything. Then you think about that one episode of Monday Night Raw where Sting interfered in a John Cena match, helped John Cena bring back Dolph Ziggler, Eric Rowan, and Ryback. So you got the icon Sting just really, really sticking it to the game Triple H. And Triple H is just in this position, where he's like, God damn it, I'm gonna get my hands on Sting. I'm gonna kick his ass. He's poking his nose in my business. I'm gonna show him who's boss, This rivalry, this program has mainly been relying very heavily on the shoulders of Triple H. And I have a little bit of a problem with that, because Sting has not said a damn thing since he come up WWE programming, main WWE programming. And we know he can talk because we've seen him pop up on a few of the WWE Network specials. For sure, the Ultimate Warrior piece, we saw it pop up on there and everything. And we're kind of like, okay, all right, yeah, he could talk good. And those of us that have been following his career for a very long time, from his days at WCW to his time in TNA Wrestling. Some of you are probably like, TNA who? But TNA Wrestling. You're like, okay, we know Sting can talk. He's not like a Mr. Perfect Kurt Hennig or a Dwayne The Rock Johnson or Chris Jericho, but he could cut a decent promo. Why isn't this guy talking? That is the billion-dollar question, and I don't know, maybe WWE is kind of saying to themselves, less is better. They are just so marveled and so relished in the paint, the trench coat and all that. I mean, don't get me wrong, that moment where Sting stood in the middle of the ring with Triple H at Fastlane, no words were spoken by Sting. He just has Triple H in the corner with the bat, points at that WrestleMania sign. That was a perfect moment right there. That was a solid freaking moment. But what's really been missing from this is Sting explaining why he's in the WWE, why he's been poking his nose in the business of Triple H. As right now, when you just look at the storyline itself, and it's a little bit silly when you really, really think about it. Just really think about it. It's a bit silly from the standpoint of, okay, you got Triple H basically saying, Sting had the opportunity to come to the WWE, but when WCW went out of business, he took his ball and he went home. He continued to collect his checks, and he was too scared to come to the WWE, and here we are all these years later. The last survivor of WCW now decides it's time. Well, first off, let's back up a second. The last survivor of WCW, I think that's billed a little bit wrong, for the simple fact WCW was bought out of business. So bringing up this whole, is the last sole survivor of WCW or whatever like that, I think they're kind of doing that a little bit wrong. I think it'd be one thing if they said, hey, it's the lost soul from WCW, or it's the man, it's the myth, it's the legend that they call Sting. I would even say survivors, if you will, but I kind of see where they're going as they're trying to build up the whole, hey, he stayed with WCW right on till the end, right on up till the final show. You know, he was very loyal to the company and all that. And, you know, honestly, I said this months ago, and anybody that wants to challenge me, go ahead. I will see if I can find the audio over the weekend, and maybe we could play it right back here next Tuesday. But I said this months ago. I said, you know, what's missing from this is it would be badass if they could bring up Sting's time in TNA wrestling to kind of justify him coming to the WWE, or at least kind of help explain why he's in the WWE, why he's been sticking it to the game Triple H. And they just have not been going there, because let's be for real, with the current story angle that they're doing right now with Triple H and Sting, they, in my honest opinion, are making a very bad decision, basically not acknowledging the fact that, okay, Sting maybe hasn't had anything to do with WWE ever, and the Monday Night War was like freaking 15 years ago. Sting hasn't just been kicking back at home playing with his belly button and watching the Tonight Show with Jay Leno or Jimmy Fallon. He's actually for a good handful of years been working for TNA Wrestling. And even if you don't want to acknowledge the company, you have to acknowledge that in some shape or form. Whether that basically comes from Triple H saying, look, so you decided to finally stop playing with the minor leagues all these years, and you finally decided to try to come on up, and while you still have a heartbeat, get your 15 minutes of fame in the WWE, you know, where the big boys play. And I mean, I'm surprised they haven't even gone that route, because that's something that Eric Bischoff used to say all the time. Welcome to WCW, where the big boys play, you know. He used to stay pushing that, you know. So I'm a little bit surprised that they didn't go in that direction. But they've got to really bring it home, and they're going to have Sting open his mouth. At this point, I think there's going to have to be some type of a contract signing. My mind would just be like, if they did not do a contract signing and we get the match between these guys. I think that would just be like, what the hell, you know? So they're going to have to do a contract signing, but, you know, I just want to extend it a little further. I was marinating on this past couple of weeks, and, you know, honestly, if they can get this guy to return and really help push the hell out of the angle, that would be awesome. But I would love to see a situation come about where just randomly, just let it be a spontaneous thing. And I promise you, WWE, if you look into this and you can make it happen, you for sure will be talked about if you make this move go down. But I think WWE needs to see if they can get the services of Eric Bischoff to really help push the hell out of this match. Now, some of you may be looking at that, and you may be saying, Lee, whoa, of all the people, Eric Bischoff, you're kind of jumping out there a little bit. What the hell? Those of you hardcore WCW fans and all that, you hardcore Sting fans, you'll definitely see the connection that I'm making right there. But who better that knows about the icon Sting than Eric Bischoff. Worked with the man in WCW, worked with the man a little bit in TNA. Who better than to really help push the program even more than Eazy-E? I mean, can you just imagine a situation that would occur on Monday Night Raw where Triple H, he's walking around, he's hell-bent on getting his hands on Sting and all that, and then you can see some guy in a backstage segment, like right after Hunter is done talking to Stephanie, some guy comes up and he goes, sir, you have a phone call in your office. It's online, blah, blah, blah. And you're kind of like, oh, well, what's going on with this? Yeah, and that would be the lore right there, because you're like, okay, obviously WWE wants us to be concerned with this phone call because they're putting a lot of emphasis on it. Well, what's going on right here? And so you could basically follow Triple H for every other segment or whatever, and you can see him on the phone and he's doing his talking, and he's like, hey, well, what do I owe the pleasure of this phone call? Well, I appreciate the fact that you want to come down here and you want to talk to me. I don't really think that's needed. No, I'm okay, but thanks. I'm gonna handle this. I'm gonna handle it my own way. Thanks. Maybe that could be a little bit of a situation right there where towards the end of the night, Triple H is on his cell phone or whatever, and the same person that he was talking to earlier says to him, look, I'm actually going to be showing up next week, whether you like it or not. And Triple H is like, okay, you want to show up? All right, fine. You want to do this? Let's do this. You and me, one-on-one. Let's do it. And, maybe some people can be under the impression, that's going to get them talking, It's going to be like, who is that Triple H is talking to? And then the next week, you have, Triple H do this nice, good build-up for maybe about an hour or 2 hours or whatever. And it's revealed that the person that he's been talking to is Eric Bischoff. And then Eric Bischoff can basically just sell to Triple H, hey, look, you and me, we've had some good times, we've had some bad times, but I'm just falling off of, when we worked together back in the day, because you and me had a very good business relationship going on, Hunter, and my God, look at where you are now. And basically, Eric could say to him, you need to tread lightly when dealing with Sting, because this is not some man that you think you could just have your way with. You could dance around him and all that. And I'm telling you from experience, as this guy has given me many, many headaches. You know what I'm saying? I think it would be really awesome if they could get Eric Bischoff involved. And as far as the contract signing goes and all that, some people may feel that maybe the contract signing should be going down, like, I don't know, maybe it should go down next week, or maybe it should go down the week after. Would a contract signing make a lot of sense or the WrestleMania Go Hope show? I don't know. I really don't know. Part of me is saying no, that wouldn't make a lot of sense, because it would just seem kind of piss poor or whatever. Like, if I was booking it, the way I would actually handle things, I would actually set up that Eric Bischoff thing in some little backstage, little mini videos to kind of hype it up, and then spread the news throughout social media, and then basically say, hey, we got a random guest, a special guest that's going to be popping up on Raw next Monday to talk to Triple H about Sting. Wonder who it could be. Then, boom, you got Eric Bischoff. And then maybe the next week, you could do a contract signing or whatnot. And honestly, I wouldn't mind, with regards to Eric Bischoff, I wouldn't mind seeing just a concerned Eric Bischoff that's just trying to say to Triple H, be on your best game with this guy, because he will have you for breakfast otherwise. That could basically be his whole message. He could kind of come in the same way that Ric Flair did, if you will. And then to make things even more interesting, as you get ready to hype up this WrestleMania event. Personally, I wouldn't mind seeing a week where Eric Bischoff interviews Triple H in maybe an exclusive interview, or wow, there's a thought right there. How about Eric Bischoff in the middle as Sting and Triple H go one-on-one verbally for about 15 minutes exclusively on the WWE network, like as soon as Raw goes off the air. I mean, there's a very, very interesting thought right there. And you know, that would be a very interesting complete departure as far as setting up that last WrestleMania Raw Go Home show, if you really think about it. I think that would be very, very interesting if they kind of set something up that way. And you can end that network special in a big way as the two guys end up brawling right there. Eric Bischoff, he's just getting the hell out of the way, letting those guys do their thing. But it ends with Triple H being so dominant as he just kicks the living shit out of the icon Sting. And then look, you have main event. You have NXT if you want to show the highlights of Triple H beating the crap out of Sting. You also have SmackDown. You've got Superstars. I mean, you can just play that bad boy the rest of the week on WWE programming. Play it on the WWE website. Trust me, if they do it just right, it's produced just right. And most importantly, you have Triple H go over Sting on that cool special. Oh, that would look so good. Triple H gets some really big mojo back. But to the smart fan, hey, Triple H beat the living tar out of the icon Sting. Well, it's a no-brainer. Sting's probably going to win at WrestleMania. Look, Sting needs to win in his WrestleMania debut regardless. It doesn't matter how this guy is booked leading up to WrestleMania. His WWE in-ring debut on the grandest stage of them all, especially if you're going to build towards something next year or possibly the next year after that with the icon Sting, you got to have him do strong off the break. You got to have him go in there and get the W against Triple H. No doubt about it. I don't know, for me, I just feel like Eric Bischoff needs to be involved, and the odds of it happening is probably slim to none, as he possibly may still be under the contract of TNA Wrestling. His time with them may not be up just yet, but I tell you what, I really wish that it was something that that could go down.